ISTE Delhi section and IET Delhi Center welcomes you all to this webinar on the art of writing research papers. Kettering, an American inventor, engineer, businessman, and the holder of 186 patents. The founder of Delco and head of research at General Motors once stated, research is an organized method of trying to find out what you are going to do after you cannot do what you are doing now. It may also be said to be the method of keeping a customer reasonably dissatisfied with what he has. That means constant change so that the customer will be still. The statement shall make sense to every researcher who aims at publishing their manuscript in a journal of repute someday. Important ingredient of a well-published and cited manuscript is not or the nature of the research problem, or presentation of the same. This webinar today aims at uncovering the practices every researcher should keep in mind and practice for writing and compiling a good research paper. I would take this opportunity to welcome amongst us our distinguished panelists for the day. We are privileged to have amongst us a galaxy of experts. I first welcome Professor Subrata Dhyay, Chairman, Consultants Network Affinity Group and former Chairperson IEEE Delhi Section. I also welcome amongst us Sri R.K. Vyas, President Computer Society of India, Professor Subramaniam Krishnamurthy. I now request Professor Subrata Mukhopadhyay to comment. Over to you, Subrata, sir.
Good evening to everybody. Yet another contemporary topic we are thinking. It's a very old topic also otherwise, going since long. We have each passed through that stages of initially obtaining some degree based on these research papers. As I have told earlier, sometimes the guide allows to write the papers and publish so that, as Ritika was talking, somewhere you have stopped, you may get the direction to move further. Or otherwise, try to get weightage of your paper or research with respect to the contemporary works being carried out by fellow researchers anywhere in the world, because it is not limited or restricted to a particular place. Again, I am very sure that Professor Huda will deliberate on different aspects about the short-term life of some research papers, which we normally give it to the conference. And when it is for a transactions or a very reputed journal like IEEE or Swinger's, number of journals are there. So possibly we have to follow a stream, and definitely main idea has to be there that what you have specifically contributed or the researcher, that is very clear from that one. Again, nowadays, of course, a lot of machine language and other things are there to check the plagiarism. Even there are a lot of controversial things. We have faced those situations like people are very clever to make paraphrasing also to avoid such detection. But that's not the thing. Main way and means is basically to find what you have contributed that should be available and clear to the reviewers who will be there. Then only it will be accepted as a good research paper. And when you get some good feedback, definitely it will help you also to move further on this direction. Again, there are other issues when you make it a formalized one in the form of a research paper. Format of different agencies or publishers are not same. You have to be very attentive on these issues and take care of that so that you write it in proper sense. Writing from maybe initially something abstract of the total thing, then finally about the introduction of the area or preface on which you are working, then your main work, results, discussion, and finally what you conclude. In the process, you must be referring so many literature and all these things that should come. And the research definitely has to be up to date. Particularly in engineering and science, that is a requirement. If you do something very old, maybe It is sometimes required some original works that you have to refer, but you have to make that reference, research, and all these things right up to date. Then only you can show that yes, others have not done. I have gone up to I do these things. So with this thing, I'm just talking over here. Definitely, other speakers are also there, and Professor Hoda is today not only the organizer, he is also the speaker. So he will amalgamate both the speeches together to move forward. Thank you. Over to Ritika.
We would now welcome amongst us Sri R.K. Vyas, Chairman, President, Computer Society of India, CSI, to motivate us with his words. Over to you.
Thank you, Ritika. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here once again in this weekly webinar conducted by Bharatiya Vidyapeeth Computer Institute of Computer Application. In the last couple of months, we have been seeing a lot of webinars being conducted on the various topics in association with the various professional societies like Computer Society of India, IET, IEEE, IST, and many other societies. As the Bharatiya Vidyapeeth is once again conducting this. Today's topic is the art of writing research papers. And today, organizer, the dual role is being played by Professor Huda as an organizer and a speaker. And I must tell you that none other person can be very good enough to talk to you about writing research papers. But one thing I think we should have the topic like art of writing quality research papers. Because whenever I talk with Professor Huda at any forum, in any type of discussions, he talks about the quality of everything, whether it is an administrative quality, academic quality. So the research paper also, he will be talking about the quality research papers and many other things which is there. And one, I must tell you, he has not only the art of telling you for writing the quality research papers, but he has art to motivate you. He has art to regenerate you. He has many other arts which will be talking. And we have been hearing him from many days, and many a times we have heard him at various technical forums also. He always adds on the things in between, so that while talking, means whenever a speaker talks, he will not allow you to sleep, He will talk about lot of shero shairis and many more things. That is, he's always keeping you awakened. So this is a very good feature which Professor Huda has, and with all those guidelines and all those things which he'll be talking of art of writing the research, I will always say art of writing quality research papers. He will be really putting those things, and the young researchers who has really entered into this during these 4-5 months, when they are sitting idle or they want to utilize their maximum time for writing research papers or writing a lesson in the book or something like that, writing a whole book on a particular topic. Most of these things are related to each other. And he has already been authoring a lot of books, a lot of research papers, and all these ideas which he has, he'll be just delivering you and this topic. So not taking much of the time. See, today I was really busy and I am still going on in one of the very important meeting of International Federation of Information Processing, but I could not resist myself to talk to you all when Professor Huda told me that he will be talking about of art of writing research, quality research papers. So I just peeped into it for 10 minutes. I wish you all best of luck. And most of the time, Professor Huda will be talking about all these activities, all this way of writing the quality research paper in another 40 to 50 minutes, which will be really very useful for our future researchers and the young faculty members also. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time given to me by the. Thank you, Ritika. Over to you, Ritika.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I would now welcome amongst us our distinguished speaker, Professor M.N. Hoda, Editor-in-Chief, International Journal of Information Technology, BJIT, published by Springer Nature and indexed by Scopus. Director, Bharatiya Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management, BVI, New Delhi. Sir has over 25 25 years of experience in academics in different capacities. He is an expert member of many board-level committees of Government of India like Department of Science and Technology (DST), Council of Scientific and Industrial Research (CSIR), Ministry of Human Resources and Development (MHRD), etc. He has also been a member of Academic Council, the apex academic body of the University of GGSIPU, New Delhi, since last many terms. Working as the coordinator cum convener for MCA program of the GGSIP University Delhi, Sir is also the editor-in-chief of International Journal of Information Technology, BJIT, having ISSN 2511-2104 for print version and ISSN 2511-2112 for electronic version, index with the world's premier.
Thank you. Now it is sufficient. Huh? So, good evening to all the participants. No, please. Thank you.
Okay.
This much
Okay,
introduction is sufficient. I don't allow any of the anchor to give any introduction. Huh? So, good evening to all.
Sir, over to you.
Good evening to all the participants from different parts of the country and abroad. Close to 425 participants have by now already logged in. Today, my role is, of course, as every one of my prior speakers and my friends have said, is dual. I being an organizer and also being a speaker for this. Since almost last 2 months, while organizing these webinars, this topic, the art of writing research paper, was coming to me from as a feedback from the participants. And might be this feedback was coming from young teachers, from research scholars, from different parts of the country. So I thought that this topic is required and we must do that. While starting this topic, then I thought that let me have 3 webinars in sequence. First webinar related to this was research methodology, which we have done on 5th of September. Professor Lobial, my friend from JNU, the former chairperson of Department of Computer Science, which is known as a School of a School of Computer and System Sciences, was the speaker. Second of the chain is this, which I am myself delivering. And the third of the same chain will be publishing ethics and plagiarism, that will be delivered by Dr. Ritika, the today's anchor. So these 3 webinars have been planned with one purpose, that those who are young authors, those who are young teachers, those who are research scholars, and they are continuously finding it difficult to get their papers accepted in a journal of repute. How to organize, how to write, what are the underlying art using which if you write your paper or if you apply that art, the probability of acceptance of your paper in quality publication will be much higher. So basically that agenda was set, and with that agenda, the first webinar was on research methodology, second is this, and third I've already spoken to you, that will be on publishing ethics and plagiarism. Now, the topic here is the art of writing research paper. My friend Professor Vyas was talking that we should write here the art of writing quality research paper. Yeah, this has been a dear topic to me also. But purposefully, I have removed quality word from here because many of the research scholars who might be getting sensitized to writing research paper for the first time. So first, they should know how to write a research paper. What are the underlying arts of writing a research paper? What are do's and what are don'ts while writing a research paper? And then the next step will be to improvise the quality of the content, improvise the quality of the presentation so that you can claim it is a quality research paper. So today's discussion will be primarily focusing on the fundamental of the art, fundamental of the principles while writing a research paper. Before going further, this particular slide is very dear to me, which I share with in all my presentation. We must need to know what is the present state of art. And that's how probably all of you who have been in this research field must be knowing that the moment you approach to your guide, maybe as an MTech scholar or as a PhD scholar or MTech student, they ask you to conduct a review of literature or literature survey or undertake present state of art. So it is important to note that why are we doing that? This slide tells you a gist of doing the present state of art, and the present state of art for that is a great philosopher, great quality scientist in the domain of software engineering, Watts Humphrey. If you search it out on Google, you will find that there are many such books written by him, on whose philosophy the CMM Institute Capability Maturity model was developed, and on that model has come up from capability maturity kind of framework, for which he has developed an institute known as Software Engineering Institute, ACI, at Carnegie Mellon University, Petersburg. And he could dare to disprove a Chinese proverb. He came a step forward and says that if Chinese proverb was, century-old Chinese proverb was, if you do not know where you are going, any road will do. And he came a step forward and said that if you do not know where you are, a map won't help. As a mathematician, if you want to disprove anything, you have to give a counter example. Exactly in the same way, in order to disprove a centuries-old Chinese proverb, he came forward and said that if you do not know where you are going, any road will do. It's not true, because if you do not know where you are, a map won't help. And then he could dare and stated forward that if you do not know where you are weak or you went wrong, you cannot improve. I add here that if you do not know where you are weak or you went wrong, in that you must also analyze that where you are weak or where you went wrong, along with that, where you are strong and what are your successful factors. So where you are weak or you went wrong, you must ensure that that should not occur next time. And what are your successful factors? You have to ensure that you practice in a more rigorous way for coming days. And that will keep on giving you a strength to keep on maintaining your confidence. So it is very important. And on the background of this, or on the backdrop of this, then I would like to tell you that where we are in publishing business, where are we in writing research papers, what are the common mistakes which you are doing, what are the points where we are going wrong, where we are weak, and then how can we introspect that, and how can we come forward and see to it that we write a proper research paper, we follow the art of writing research papers. And that what I'm discussing today, close to 450 participants, you have all right to differ with me. What I'll be talking my experience based on dealing with papers in IEEE publications and Springer publications. So primarily it is engineering domain. You participants, I do not know the profile of the participants, might be from humanities, might be from other disciplines of sciences, might be from management, might be from other streams of educational system. And you have all right to differ with me. So whatever I will be talking next 40-45 minutes will be based on my experience of dealing with close to 50,000 plus papers in last 15 years, and that primarily for the publication of IEEE and Springer publication. So it is not something that these are the silver rules or these are the silver bullets. If you follow these, then only you are successful, then only your paper will be a good paper. Otherwise, it is not. This is not like that. So I said that IEEE and Springer perspective. So from a Springer point of view, in 2009, we started a journal, and that journal was BIGIT. By 2017, that journal has been taken over, like merger, acquisitions, etc. That journal has been taken over by Springer Nature, based on in branding, based on citations, based on its reputation. And now since 2017 onwards, this journal is being published by Springer Nature from Singapore. Indian rights of giving subscription to the libraries are with Bharati Vidyapeeth, with us. Technical, we have copyright is of Bharati Vidyapeeth at this moment. All technical rights are with us at Bharati Vidyapeeth, and marketing right at international body outside India is with Springer. So one experience is this, which will be I will be sharing with all of you. We receive close to 2,000 paper every year, and we publish hardly around 200 papers. So out of 2,000 papers submitted every year, we publish close to 200 papers. We are increasing. At this moment, it is 4 issues a year, quarterly published. From 2021 January onwards, we'll be publishing 6 issues of 1 year. So probably then we will be reaching to close to 300 or maybe around 400 papers every year being published. Second is this international conference, which was started in the year 2007 under the same name Indiacom, from Indiacom 2007, and by now 14 editions of this Indiacom has already been. This is the 15th edition of Indiacom conference. This conference is approved by IEEE, and the papers after presentation in this conference go to IEEE Explore, and through IEEE Explore, this is indexed to all premier abstracting and indexing agencies in the world. You name an agency and it is indexed with that agency, Web of Science, Scopus, etc. Journal is also a Scopus index, DBLB index, and also indexed with UGC care list. So again, close to 3,000 papers every year in this conference we receive, between 2,000 to 3,000. And this experience is also based on dealing with papers in Indiacom. So this is an IEEE perspective, and that is an Springer perspective with which I will be talking and sharing my experience to all of you. Now in the beginning only, I wanted to, the way I have sensitized you that what Humphrey said, that let's understand where we are right, where we are wrong. Where we are right are our strength that we must practice in a more rigorous way. Where we are wrong, where we are weak, or where we are not in a position to practice in a best possible manner, that we should avoid practicing and its occurrence should be prevented next time. So I have categorized the casual attitude of authors, the present state of art of the authors, what new authors are doing at this moment in 4 different categories. And the first category is that any author who wanted to write paper first time, maybe because of the interest, self-interest, or because of some passion from some head of department, from peers, from some assessing agency, what they do, that copy and paste from an existing publication. They give you some references, they give you some journals of Springer, they give you some journal of IEEE, they give you some journal of Elsevier. Someone will help you in getting those journals or getting link of those journals. You read few papers, you find that, yeah, this is in line with my interest, and then you copy that paper and submit it to some new publication. And you expect that publishers will not come to know that this paper has been taken from which place. My dear friends, this is a digital age. Earlier also, when there was no digital age, the experts used to identify that this paper must be a published paper and cannot be a paper from a new author. Now, today's time, it is so easy. It will never come to editor-in-chief. It will not even go to editors. It will not even go to associate and assistant editors. It will simply a software. A Keller KLA staff sitting at a publication office will check the paper using the software and will see to it that this paper, as it is, has been taken from so-and-so publication, will reply you and will also debar you from further submissions, because then you are trying to deceive. So first casual attitude is copy and paste from some existing publication. Let's not do that. All of you, all the participants, all the teachers, all the academicians have got enough potential. You can write your own paper. Never do that copy and paste work. You can easily get debarred from any of the publication if you do this now, because software, the plagiarism software, the similarity index software, the kind of other softwares available will easily identify them. Second casual attitude, which I have identified out of dealing with 50,000 plus papers, that any author who had published, maybe had done a BTech or had done a MTech, published a good paper during MTech, now he has or she has joined as a lecturer or maybe as assistant professor at some organization, and in next 2 years, no publication. Someone has asked them that you publish, otherwise your increment will be stopped. So what that author is doing, that author, because it's a gap of now 4 or 5 years, author wants that the same paper as it is, without any modification, without any new contribution, be published at some other publisher, and they submit the paper as it is. And you expect that I am not doing any crime. It is not an offense, because it is my own paper, which I have published long ago, and I wanted to publish it again. My dear friend, this is also part of self-plagiarism, and it is also a part of offense. You have already taken a credit of this paper once you have published first time. Now, if you want to take the credit twice, this is a part of crime, and the publisher, if is not very harsh, then publisher will at least write to your organization that a person so and so is doing this kind of mischievous activity. And even if they do not write anything to your organization, will debar you from doing that, because publisher understand that it is a kind of activity, deceiving activity. And if we do not debar such authors, tomorrow some such paper may go unnoticed. So let's not do that. This is a second casual attitude. And self-plagiarism is a bigger crime now. Third important is, you are a good author, you have a good research available with you, and you want that this paper should get published quickly. You open your mailbox, and every day morning you get at least 10 to 20 mails from different kind of publishers that you publish a paper here, and we will publish your paper fortnightly, we will publish your paper in a week time, and that's a paid journal. Paid journal are good journals also, but those kind of predatory journal, which the purpose of those journals is not publication, purpose of those journals is to take money and publish your paper. So you are wasting your good paper, you are wasting your effort, you are not visualizing that this quick publication at this moment seems very good, but 6 months down the line, when I will present this paper somewhere, when I will try to add this paper somewhere, or when I will showcase this paper in any of the interview board before selection committee, people will laugh at me and people will not give me credit. So if this practice also you are doing, so you are putting your hard work, you are putting your quality work into a dustbin. Let's not do that. That is the third casual attitude, what I'm realizing that many of the new authors are doing. The fourth casual attitude is submit paper to a good journal and then start finding intimacy, maybe directly or maybe with the help of your guide or maybe with the help of some of your known senior experts, so that that senior person or that known person should influence the editorial team, editor-in-chief or someone to have a quick publication. My dear friend, those publishers who are publishing quality publications, journals, conferences, particularly journal, no publisher will make compromise on quality. Because for journal publication, the journals will be in a position to sustain themselves into the publishing business only when or as long as they are publishing quality paper. The day they will start doing these kind of compromises, these kind of nepotism, these kind of references, if they try to accommodate into their publication process, the journal will lose its sustainability and probably maybe a year or 2 years down the line, journal may not exist. So if you are thinking in that way, let's not think in that way. Let's not pressurize the editorial board in that way. If around 4 or 5 months have already been crossed after submitting your paper, you can write a polite reminder to the publisher that I had submitted a paper and I'm awaiting for the comments. If you kindly give me comments, it will be very useful for improvising the quality of my paper. Such kind of polite reminders you can always write to journals, and journals will be happy to respond you back what you need to do. This last attitude which I have mentioned with you is a very dangerous attitude. And you talk to any editor-in-chief in the country or outside the country, they all will tell you like that. And I have personally been suffering with these problems in a biggest possible manner. Any fine day when I pick up a phone, some very senior person talks to me and says that, hello, Professor Huda, I understand that you are editor-in-chief of so-and-so journal, BJIT. I say, yes, sir, good morning to you. And then next, the sentence which he is going to utter to me is a very dangerous sentence. And then he says that you are doing an excellent work and you must be complimented. The moment he says this, I get alerted that there is some strong recommendation which is going to come and I have to get prepared to reply to him in the same way. And then he talks to me on phone that I need one favor. My would-be son-in-law has submitted a paper in BJIT having ID this and paper ID this. I shall be obliged if you kindly accept it. He has to submit his PhD thesis with which his promotion is linked, and then after I have to marry my daughter with him. My dear friends, please imagine if as a publisher, as a journal editor-in-chief of a journal, if we keep on accommodating these kind of requests, how can we publish the journal? How can we ensure that journal will be sustainable in the market? How can we ensure that journal will touch a better height in coming days? This technique is not going to work. So all of you must understand that is the only quality in case of journal publication which will work, nothing else will work. That you must be very clear, and this attitude is also not going to help you in any way. Now, next important is, I wanted to tell you up front, there are two things which you need to keep into the mind. First is the content of the paper, the quality of the research which you are undertaking. And second is the presentation in which you have presented your content, the structuring of your paper which you have done for your paper. Both the things are important. And as editor-in-chief of this journal, or having this much experience of dealing with the papers, my experience or my takeaway is both are equally important. And then I say that 50% is your content, 50% is your presentation and structuring of it. The very first, no one will look into your content. Everyone will look into your structuring of the paper first. If your structuring of the paper, if your presentation of the paper is not good, so the paper will get outrightly rejected. Second will come the quality of your content. The quality of the research which you have undertaken, that is the quality of the content. If your paper, because of good structuring, because of good presentation, got considered for the purpose of review, then the next important aspect will be, it will go for review. And then at that moment, to which extent you are, you have a sound and sufficient technical content in your paper, to which extent your research is a state of the art, that will be important, and that will decide that whether your paper will be, reviewer will give you a good review, your paper will be accepted, or your paper will be rejected. So if you first art is, if you want that your paper should not get outrightly rejected, your approach should be to focus on the presentation of the paper, on structuring of the paper. Next, during the course of detailed review by the expert of the domain, you have to focus that if your research is a state of the art, if your research is of quality, then only the reviewer will give a good comment, and then only paper will be accepted. That's how I said that both are important and both are 50-50%. So first I will be dealing, because on actual quality of the research, on actual content, quality of the content written in that paper, very least and any speaker, any third person can speak to you, because it is based on your actual research. So how can I tell you that I can give you some guideline that these are the ways through which you can improvise the quality of your research, quality of the content in your paper. But of course, the second aspect, structuring of your paper, presentation of paper, any expert, any senior person can give you suggestion. But on the first, I would like to show you two slides which talks that what kind of research you are doing, under which research ecosystem you are, and under which ecosystem it is ensured that you will be doing a quality research, and under which ecosystem the quality research may not be available. So the actual, once your research is not of quality, then the actual content which you are going to present your paper, how can that be of quality? So the first is research approach one way. And what is that way? That as a scholar, the scholar, after so much of a filtering process, now so much of filtering process have been applied by different universities, finally finalized that he will be my guide. Mr. X is my guide. And then the student approach to Mr. X, सर अब मैं बिल्कुल रेडी हूँ और आ गया हूँ फ्री होके, और मैं आपके साथ पेपर पब्लिश करना चाहता हूँ, रिसर्च करना चाहता हूँ, मुझे गाइड कीजिए. अच्छा, the teacher whom you have approached is maybe an assistant professor, maybe associate professor, or maybe a professor. He is waiting that some good student I have filtered, and that student will come and I will get this work done. And by this process, because you joined maybe 2-3 days late than what he expected, so he had already done some homework, and out of that homework, he had written a paper. He had talked to few publisher also that I have written a paper and kindly help me for publication. So the moment as a scholar you approach to that guide, the guide tells you, okay, I will tell you that what should be your research topic and how can you frame your research topic, and what should be a review of literature, which are references or which are links you should review. I will tell you later, but I'm in a hurry at this moment. Take this data set, any data set depending upon the requirement, medical data set, networking data set, etc. He will give you a data set and will tell you that go in the laboratory conduct an experiment using this data set on MATLAB and test the final result. But mind that I need results by today evening. He is not telling you the second sentence that I have already spoken with some publisher and is ready to publish paper. I have also written a paper, only MATLAB graph is to be added in that paper, and then everything is written. What will be the output? What will be the final performance? What will be the final result of this data? That also I have written. But I need to include an original graph generated by MATLAB, which I could not generate. I wanted you to generate. So that's how he is talking to you. Now, as a first day interaction with your guide, or maybe a subsequent day's interaction, you are not in a position to say no to your guide, and you finally have no option but to tell, yes, sir, I will do that. And you come back with that data set to the laboratory, and then you are very much worried in the laboratory. Other friends from the laboratory will tell you what happened to you, and then you narrated the entire story. And then other friends who have been doing research since beginning will tell you that, okay, don't worry, I will help you out in generating this result on the given data set using MATLAB. So he helped you to generate the result, and the data set was applied, and then the result has been generated. And the result is like this result. And the result shows the guide expected in a straight line, while as the result is having a little deviation in between and then in a straight line. Because of the data set, of course, whatever data set you will be giving on the experiment setup which you have done, on the basis of that only result will come. And then you are not sure as a student, as a scholar, that whether this deviation is good or this deviation is bad. So you are not in a position to give a clear picture to the guide. So what you are telling to the teacher, sir, I have carried out the experiment and here is the final result. You are not telling anything. You are telling that here is the final result. Sir, आप ही देख लो result अच्छा है कि खराब है. Result expected line पे या result unexpected है. आपने अच्छी बात जो बतानी थी वो बताई नहीं, और आपने डरते बताया here is the final result. अच्छा, गाइड में मैंने तो जैसा आपको बताया कि गाइड पहले से तैयार थे, पेपर लिखा हुआ था, वो स्ट्रेट लाइन एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे थे. That has not come. So guide has become so much angry, and see the response of the guide is stupid. Why is there a deviation in the response? Use any plotting software, maybe like Photoshop, and remove the data points so that we get a smooth graph, a straight line. I need to publish the result immediately. Now he's telling the second sentence which he didn't tell in the beginning. I need to publish the result immediately. My dear friend, if this is a research ecosystem, let me tell you clearly that what quality research we are talking, what quality content we are talking, forget about that. How will you bring a quality content in your paper? You will be doing some copy paste from here and there. And if this is the environment, if you are a scholar, please commit today that when you will become a guide, when you will become a professor, when you will become an associate professor, when you will become an assistant professor, and will be in a position to enroll scholars, and you will never do that. Because if in this kind of hurried manner we are doing, possibly we are compromising too much, and what kind of quality we are talking, let's forget that quality. The second approach which I will show you, which is certain to generate quality research, the second approach is C. The moment a student, like the earlier student, first day is going to the teacher, even if he is also prepared to write a paper, but see the behavior of the teacher, see the research ecosystem in another approach. Take this data set, conduct experiment on MATLAB, and test the final result. And the red lines are very important. And then the teacher says, when you get meaningful result, then come back to me, take your own time. So this implies that teacher has given you that much liberty that you create a result. Then you interpret the result. And when you see some significance in the result, when you see some meaning in the result, when you see some value in the result, then you come back to me and brief me. Take your own time. Need not to come today. Need not to come tomorrow. You may take 3 months' time and then come back to me. And with this much of encouragement, the scholar comes back. And when a scholar comes back, you know what, a scholar is so happy. He starts mixing with the people, start learning the technology, start learning the platform, start trying to innovate and optimize the experimental setup, the research methodology, and then he conducts the experiment. And when he finally conducts the experiment, Of course, the data set is same, so he will again get this deviation. But the moment he gets this deviation, before getting this deviation, he has already done a literature review. And while doing literature review, he come across to the situation that all the prior papers are talking about a straight line. All the prior researchers and authors are talking about a straight line. He got a deviation. See, he got more fascinated. And he was thinking in his mind, okay, if I am not wrong, probably all other researchers who have done research, they have not tested the data properly and their results are not correct. So if I go with this result to my guide will be very happy. And that's how when he goes to the guide with this result having deviation, he says, sir, I have carried out the experiment. Yahan tak to dono same hai, dono ecosystem mein. But next red line are very important, which the scholar is telling to the teacher. Sir, the final result is interesting. I notice a deviation. बच्चा खुश होके बता रहा, स्कॉलर खुश होके बता रहा अपने गाइड को कि जो फाइनल रिजल्ट है सर, वो तो बड़ा मीनिंगफुल दिख रहा है सर, मुझे बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग दिख रहा है. अच्छा, गाइड जिसने पहले वाले इकोसिस्टम के जैसा नहीं है, अब गाइड देखो, गाइड कितना ज्यादा खुश होता है. Guide कहता, well done my student, focus on the regions where you are getting king, where you are getting deviation. Modify the material in such a way that this deviation, which is not making it become a straight line, is becoming more prominent. And if it becomes more prominent, I'm visualizing an important application of this deviation. We can get this deviation, this result patented, and then publish a novel paper. And probably this approach will undo the research of last 50 years. गाइड का अप्रोच देखिए आप. अब आप खुद सारे पार्टिसिपेंट डिसाइड कीजिए कि इस इकोसिस्टम में रिसर्च की क्वालिटी बेटर होगी या पहले वाले इकोसिस्टम में बेटर होगी. ये मैं आपके ऊपर छोड़ता हूं, आप डिसाइड कीजिए. तो आप जिस पोजीशन में हैं, आप अगर स्कॉलर हैं तो आप अपने हिसाब से अपनी डायनामिक्स सेट कीजिए. आप गाइड हैं, टीचर्स हैं, तो अपने हिसाब से अपनी डायनामिक्स सेट कीजिए. मैंने आपको बताया कि दो चीजें हैं. फर्स्ट इज कंटेंट ऑफ योर क्वालिटी कंटेंट, and the second is the quality structuring of your paper, quality presentation of your paper. तो पहला एस्पेक्ट मैंने ये दो स्लाइड के हेल्प से आपको समझाने की कोशिश की है कि क्वालिटी रिसर्च कहां से आएगा. वो रिसर्च अच्छे रिसर्च इकोसिस्टम से आएगा, अच्छे रिसर्च इन्वायरमेंट से आएगा. तो ये अच्छा रिसर्च इन्वायरमेंट, गुड रिसर्च इन्वायरमेंट, गुड रिसर्च इकोसिस्टम आप डेवलप करने की कोशिश करें. मेरा सिर्फ एक सजेशन है, माय सजेशन, दैट इफ यू आर undergoing with your PhD, with your research, and you have this kind of research ecosystem is not available at your place, then please do not try to change that ecosystem overnight by your effort. You will become a biggest sufferer. At least commit that when you will become the guide, you will develop that ideal research ecosystem. So this is my first part of the presentation, which talks about improvising the quality of the content or quality of the research. The second part is the quality of your presentation of the paper, quality of your structuring of the paper, and quality of presentation and quality of structuring of the paper will be judged first to understand whether your paper is worth reviewing, worth considering, or your paper should get rejected outrightly. So पहला तो वो है, और दूसरा ये है जो मैंने पहले आपसे बात कर दी. तो इस पे मैं इतना ही बोलूंगा. इसके अलावा आप जिस डोमेन में रिसर्च कर रहे, जिस फील्ड में रिसर्च कर रहे, जिस सब्जेक्ट और जिस टॉपिक पे रिसर्च कर रहे, आपको खुद अंडरस्टैंड करना है. यू हैव टू योरसेल्फ अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हाट आई शुड डू, व्हिच काइंड ऑफ रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी आई शुड prepare, which kind of research setup I should configure, which kind of simulator or actual laboratory work I should do, so that the quality of my research paper should become better. Next is the approach of presentation. So before presentation, before structuring, I wanted to sensitize you and talk to you that what exactly is the research paper. I'm not talking of a quality research paper. I'm talking of a research paper at this moment. First research paper and then improvise its quality, right? And quality, both the aspect. First aspect I have already narrated you with the help of two ecosystems, and the second is of course the presentation. So at this moment I am talking of what exactly is the research paper. So my dear friends, many of us know in terms of net salary and gross salary. So the way our net salary is after deduction and gross salary is everything, all my parts, everything added. So exactly in the same way, a mathematical definition of a research paper has been written here, which talks about the gross information content in your paper and minus the information available in the reference section. जो हमने रेफरेंस ऐड किया है वो रेफरेंस सेक्शन के इंफॉर्मेशन को मैं ग्रॉस इंफॉर्मेशन कंटेंट से अगर माइनस कर दूं तो मेरा नेट इंफॉर्मेशन कंटेंट आता है. My net information content will only be measured at the time of measuring whether it is a research paper or not. If you are talking that I have written so much in my paper, then my dear friend, you should also refer your references. You have also given so much of references. If I minus the information available already in your references, your net information content will be zero. So let's understand the definition of a research paper in mathematical way, and I is equal to your net information content, and I have given you the definition of the net information content is the gross information content of your paper minus the relevant information already available in the references through prior publications is your I. If I is strictly greater than zero, many of you might be knowing strictly greater than, strictly less than, greater than or equal to. I am not talking greater than and equal to. तीन जगह बांटा है मैंने, strictly greater than, equal to and strictly less than. So when I'm talking of I, net information content is strictly greater than zero, then your paper is a research paper and will be considered making some research contribution, right? And it is a research paper, you should be proud of this. If your I is equal to zero, this implies it is a review paper, survey paper, making people to know about the domain, making people to know about the present state of art, but not is a research paper. And many of the conferences, many of the journals in the country appreciate that the review paper, survey paper should be there. Few journals still upfront that we do not accept the review paper. But my suggestion to all of you scholars will be, all of you young teachers will be, that you must start writing, you must start your research by writing review paper, by writing your survey paper. And let me also tell you in the beginning that review paper and survey paper will have at least 10 times more citation than actual your research paper. Because many of the paper will read through your review paper in order to formulate their problem, in order to understand the present state of art, in order to do the literature review. And from there will come to know that what should be the topic of my research paper. तो आपको review paper तो लिखना ही चाहिए, survey paper लिखना चाहिए, और वो लिखते वक्त ये ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि I should be at least equal to zero. The third case is very dangerous. If I is strictly less than zero, then you have to think twice. दोबारा से बैठो, ठीक से सोचो कि मैं क्या लिख रहा हूं. मैं कोई पब्लिकेशन, किसी पब्लिशर के लिए पब्लिकेशन लिख रहा हूं, या किसी क्लास के लिए लेक्चर बना रहा हूं, या किसी न्यूज़पेपर के लिए आर्टिकल लिख रहा हूं. It can be a newspaper article if I is strictly less than zero. You are writing some informatory note for someone, or you are giving a tutorial in the classrooms, etc. But if you are thinking it is a research paper or survey paper, my dear friend, you are mistaken. It is not that. So this implies henceforth we are talking the first two cases. The third case is out of this domain of discussion, that is a newspaper, and in whichever way, in whichever format you want to present information, that structuring and that kind of presentation depends upon where you wanted to publish that. So the rest of the section of my presentation will be basically the first two cases, whether I is strictly greater than zero or I is equal to zero. Now, next important is, what are the processes, generic processes, which any of the publisher will employ for the purpose of processing your paper? I'm talking processing your paper. When I'm talking processing your paper, it talks about your rejection process. When I'm talking of processing about paper, it talks about the entire review process. And then it's also talking about the acceptance of your paper and post-acceptance processes, right? Publication, final publication. So the green boxes which I have shown with green colors are to be executed or are to be undertaken by the authors himself, right? Author or authors himself or themselves, right? The yellow box is only the job which editor in chief editorial assistants. So जो editorial assistants होते हैं, they basically help the editorial team for giving input, giving analytics related to the paper. And then the orange boxes are basically the job primarily done by editor-in-chief or someone on behalf of editor-in-chief. And then all these pink boxes are basically the job to be done by associate editors and assistant editors, including the reviewers in the process. A little variation might be from publisher to publisher, but in general, the processes are that once you think about writing any paper, you generate an idea that this is the idea for which I wanted to write a paper. So the first is generating an idea. Then the second comes literature search. So you start doing review of literature. Then you conclude that, oh yes, I have read this much, I have done this much of analysis, so and so great authors I have read, and I can write, I can develop a technology and write a paper. So if it is a technology, you develop a technology. If it is some incremental addition, you do that incremental addition. So do that, and then finally, then you sometimes decide in advance that I am writing paper for which kind of journal. Say, for example, if you are writing paper for many of the Elsevier journal or maybe IEEE transaction journal, they will not accept your paper if your paper is of less than 10 pages. So you need to write paper from between 10 to 20 pages. On the other hand, if you are writing for such a journal who accept letters and you wanted only 2 pages to be published, you are most welcome to submit paper. But for many other journals, almost 70% of the journals other than these two categories who are primarily publishing research papers, your paper should be written as expected by the journals. It should not be like letter 2 pages, 3 pages or 4 pages, and it should never be a book, maybe around 20 pages, 30 pages, 40 pages. If you are writing in a book form, probably 20 pages, 30 pages, 40 pages, it will become a kind of novel, and the people will lose interest while reading it. So many of the journals, around 70 to 75% of the journal, reject paper outrightly, despite the fact that your paper is a good paper and you had a sufficient research component in that. Second, if you are writing less than 4 pages, then you think of either some journals who are publishing letters. There are many even IEEE journals who publish letters, or otherwise 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages papers you can submit to some conferences. Primarily, those papers will give the technology direction, and then onwards, after the conference has got the presentation and then some publication, then after you can improvise the paper and make it for a journal. That you can do. But ideally, if you are writing paper for these 70 to 75% of the publishers or the journals, in between, you must ensure that paper is of at least of 6 pages and not more than 12 to 15 pages. Now you have to see the policy of the journal. So at that moment, while writing paper, it is important for you to decide that which kind of journal you are targeting. Depending upon that, you will decide that what kind of paper you want to do that. Then write paper, then submit paper. And the moment you submit it, my suggestion to all of you at this moment will be that do ensure that you are checking your paper with some of the plagiarism software. Many of the universities had got subscription. Even if you have no subscription, there are some free softwares available. Otherwise, there are softwares to which you can make payment, maybe authenticate. You make payment for one paper and scan your paper there. And convince yourself, develop a confidence that my paper have no similarity index, possibly less than, normally no publisher will give you that how much % of similarity index is acceptable, how much % of similarity index is not acceptable. We are planning to have a separate webinar on that how to decide that which kind of percentage out of a similarity index, maybe out of Turnitin or Authenticate, will be considered as a plagiarism, and which kind of similarity index will never be considered as a plagiarism. It might happen that 20% similarity index may not be considered as a plagiarism, and 50% similarity index or 10% similarity index may be considered as a plagiarism. So in which section this similarity index is coming? Whether similarity index is coming in your research section, in your research methodology section, in your contribution section, or it is as part of your review of literature, your introduction, etc., etc. So that is a separate discussion which will be done. But my suggestion to all of you, if you want that your paper should not get rejected outrightly, let's scan in some of the using some of the software and ensure that overall similarity index means overall plagiarism. We are using the term interchangeably at this moment, the plagiarism and the similarity index, whereas there might be a difference in this depending upon the situation. But if you realize that it is more than 10%, rewrite your paper. See to it that your similarity index is less than 10%. And this is overall. And from any single source, it should not be more than 5%. So from any single source, it should be less than 5%. Overall, it should be less than 10%. And then you move forward. And the moment it is done, so yeah, this yellow aspect is the decision aspect. The yellow decision is taken by my editorial assistant team, the Killer Kill team, who does job for me. And the editorial assistant team gives me input that this paper has got the authenticate report. Along with that, this paper has got 50% similarity index overall, 20% from a single source. This paper has got 40% overall, and 10% from a single source. So I need not do anything. I can even configure system that beyond 10% overall and beyond 5% from a single source, if there is a similarity index, let paper get rejected outrightly. So outright rejection को रोकना है तो आपको कहीं से तो सिमिलरिटी इंडेक्स चेक करना चाहिए, और नहीं तो फिर जो आपको वो बता रहे हैं उसे एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए. If editor in chief is convinced with the help of the report, now editor in chief is not will not be applying his intellect in knowing whether this paper is plagiarized or this paper is a genuine one. He will never apply because there is a software to help him. Earlier, when there was no software, the expert used to apply the intellect, try to understand whether it's a genuine paper, original paper, or copied from some source. But now people will not apply. So next is that editor-in-chief, once he is convinced that it's not plagiarized paper, he will try to see whether the paper is within the scope of my journal or not. Now, where from the scope will be fixed up? A scope will be fixed up after going your title. What is the title of the paper? We'll be talking a little later that what kind of, what is the art of writing title and what kind of words you should add in the title. Then if title clearly tells that, yes, this title is within the scope of the journal, he will immediately go to the next step. If title doesn't convey the clear image, clear message, then he may go to see the abstract. And if he doesn't convince with the doesn't get convinced with the abstract, he might go even to conclusion. And lastly, he might go even to the references. These are the only 4 things which AIC will look into to understand whether I have to get this paper reviewed or I have to reject it outright. So this implies your title is very important, your abstract is very important, your conclusion is very important, your references are very important. If you have not applied the art, which I will be discussing later, in writing these 4 things, your paper, despite the fact have got sufficient technical content, sufficient research input into that, will never get reviewed and will get outrightly rejected. इसीलिए बहुत सारे ऑथर्स मुझे, हम जैसे लोगों को पूछते रहते हैं, सर इतना बढ़िया पेपर लिखा था, सर इतना अच्छा रिसर्च कंट्रीब्यूशन था, पेपर आउटराइटली रिजेक्ट हो गया तीसरे दिन सर. मैं उनको कहता हूं कि वो वहां तक तो पहुंचे ही नहीं ना एडिटर इन चीफ, आपके रिसर्च कंटेंट तक. उन्होंने तो आपका टाइटल पढ़ा होगा, आपका एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पढ़ा होगा, वर्ड्स टू वर्ड्स आपका कंट्रीब्यूशन, आपका कंक्लूजन और आपका रेफरेंस पढ़ा होगा और वहां से पेपर रिजेक्ट कर दिया. तो ये चारों चीजें आपको ध्यान रखनी है, मैं आगे सेक्शन में डिस्कस करूंगा. अब इतने होने के बाद एडिटर इन चीफ कन्विंस हो जाता है, फिर वो ये देखता है कि इसका मतलब पेपर में सफिशिएंट टेक्निकल कंटेंट है. और जब सफिशिएंट टेक्निकल कंटेंट है तो वो डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द डोमेन ऑफ द पेपर. नाउ एडिटर इन चीफ कैनॉट बी जेम फ्रॉम ऑल द डोमेन. He cannot be master of all the domains. So if my area is say networking and the paper has come from image processing, so I may not go into detail of your technical content. So I will be having multiple associate editors from different domains. So I will mark to one of the associate editor who is from image processing or maybe from the concerned discipline. And now the associate editor will deal with the paper. So what associate editor will do? Associate editor will invite few reviewers. Maybe around 5 reviewers associate editor will invite. Out of that, at least 3-4 reviewer will say, yes, I can review the paper. And then associate editor will assign the paper to at least 3 of the such reviewers who will accept to review. And then finally will interact. Associate editor will interact with the reviewer and finally get the review reports. Once the review reports have been received by the system, then the associate editor, with his own input, with his own judgment, and with the consolidation of the review reports, submit the report to the editor-in-chief. Sir, this paper has been reviewed. Out of the 3 reviewers, 2 have accepted, 1 has given a major revision. Now your paper might get again rejected without major any comments, may get rejected even. Your paper after review might be placed into major review. Your paper after review might be placed into minor review, and your paper may even get accepted directly, but that situation is not more than 5%. That without any revision, without any suggestion, your paper gets accepted. Now, based on these input from the reviewers, the editor-in-chief will take decision, will apply his mind, will apply his intellect, intellect and will try to see that yes, the reports are correct, in line, and I should accept this paper. In between, paper might have gone 2 cycle, 3 cycle, 4 cycle, multiple cycles of revision. And then after, if the editorial team decides that now there is no input coming, new input coming after revision, they may reject also paper in between. So such kind of questions which keep on coming to us, that my paper was there in the review process for maybe around 6 months, maybe around 9 months, and after that has been rejected. That might happen, my dear friends. Outright rejection which happens at the editor-in-chief level will happen within a month or 2 months. Maximum, mostly it happens within a week or 10 days time, but even sometime it may take month time. But if rejection has come after a detailed review process, this may take maybe around 3 months time, maybe around 6 months time, maybe around 9 months time, depending upon how many reviewers are, how much journal is overpraised with the kind of the submissions, etc., etc. But anyway, if it is accepted, well and good. If paper is not accepted and you get a quality review comments, you should write a very polite and thankful mail to the editor-in-chief, to the publisher, that I'm thankful of receiving this comment, and these comments will be of immense value for improvising the quality of this paper. And then if the editor-in-chief has not debarred you, the publisher has not debarred you from the submission, maybe for next 1 year or 2 years, many of the journals debar the author that next time you can submit your paper only after 1 year. But if they have not debarred you, you may request that after improvising this input, can I resubmit my paper? Probably many of the publishers who have not debarred you will say you yes. So you should be thankful to them. And next important, even if it has been some major revision or minor revision, etc., has come, you should never be offensive. If you feel that you do not agree with the views expressed by the reviewer, you may put a rebuter. You may create a table. In left column, you may write the comments of the reviewer. In the right column, you may write your own comments that yes, I agree on this comment, and maybe on second comment, I do not agree. Probably I have missed to present my viewpoint in the paper, and this is my viewpoint. What happens, my dear friend? Whatever you are writing in a paper, it's a passive evaluation. You are not present before reviewer. You are not present before the editor-in-chief. So whatever you are writing, they will be whatever message they will get from that text, that only they will carry. If you have a different interpretation, you may write in your rebuttal message, right? Next important aspect is, now what are the important factors which you should consider while writing paper? Because these are so important factors that on account of these, your paper will get rejected. And this slide is sufficient to complete and conclude today's webinar. And the first important aspect is, which I have already discussed, plagiarism with similarity index must be less than 10%. And if there are some ethical compliances required in your paper, that also you must add. Ethical compliances could be of many types. One ethical compliance which is very common is that your project was funded. Out of that, a sponsored project, maybe from DST, maybe from CSIR, maybe from UGC, maybe from your own university, you have generated this paper. And now in your entire paper, you have never mentioned that this project was funded and I have taken permission. So the moment anyone will come to know this is a funded project by so many of metadata which you need to fill up at the time of submitting the project. So they will look into that. Did you obtain NOC from that organization? That is a part of ethical compliance. Did you obtain NOC? And whether that NOC is attached with the paper. Why? Because publishers are afraid that if they do not understand if they do not confirm the ethical compliances from your part, might be any such funding agency tomorrow may write a letter, may write the objection to the publisher that this project was funded and I was nowhere acknowledged in this paper. How can you publish this paper? So this is one major ethical compliances. There are other type of ethical compliances also, like I will give you one example, like the paper is authored by 3 authors, right? And everywhere you have written paper, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. Implies what? You are doing mischievous activity. Either there is only one author and you have added just to please your other friends the 2 names and you didn't change your content, or vice versa. that, or vice versa, that all three authors are there, genuine authors, but you are not trying to give credit to anyone. That's how you are writing in single person. So if there are multiple authors, write in plural way, we people, right? We did that. So these are, there are multiple other kind of ethical compliances as well. Next important is prior papers in the same domain are not referenced. जब मैं लोगों से बातें करता हूं तो लोग मुझे वो मेरी पहली स्लाइड याद दिलाते हैं, I is strictly greater than 0 and I is equal to 0. ये सारे पेपर में रेफर कर दूंगा सर, तो मेरा तो I strictly less than 0 हो जाएगा. तो मैं उन्हें बताता हूं कि जो आज का जमाना है, जो सॉफ्टवेयर इनेबल्ड डोमेन है, दिस सॉफ्टवेयर इनेबल्ड डोमेन विल इजीली अंडरस्टैंड that what are other related papers in that domain which could have been referred here and you have not referred, and then they will come to know next activity that you have purposefully not referred those papers so that you claim this paper as a research paper and you are purposefully trying to hide it, and then they will develop an impression this author is a little mischievous author, he is not trying to give all these kind of things, he is fabricating information, let's reject it. So see to it that all prior papers you must refer through different abstracting and indexing databases, otherwise simple Google data can help you in doing that, and see to it that all latest papers must be referenced and minus those information in those papers, minus those information, only then you have to claim whether your paper is a review paper or your paper is a research paper. Third important, very important aspect, research methodology is not explained explicitly. What is explicitly? If I'm a reviewer of your paper, this paper has come to me, I will ask my two research scholars, two students to review first and give me comment. And what to review first? I will ask him, go to in the laboratory, because I am of the same domain, then only the paper has come to me. So I will ask him to go to the laboratory, reproduce the research methodology in the laboratory, recreate the experimental setup, and then test this. If your paper doesn't have the self-verifiable component of the research methodology, if by reading your paper, that a student or that reviewer is not in a position to reproduce that research methodology in the lab, how will he test the authenticity of the result? And then this implies वो student आके मुझे ये तो बहुत ही dubious type का research methodology दिखा हुआ, I am not in a position to reproduce it in my lab. And then I will go through and I will get convinced with my scholar, yeah, you are right. We can't reproduce it. So this author is mischievous author and is trying to hide something, reject this paper. Without reading further, your paper will get rejected. So whenever you are writing your research methodology, be sure enough that any third person, if they wanted to reproduce it, they should be in a position to reproduce and generate the result. Believe me, the moment any scholar or any reviewer will be in a position to reproduce your research methodology, generate run that data on that experimental setup, get the same result which you have presented in the paper, your paper is accepted. बाकी चीजें टेक्स्ट पढ़ना चीजें ये वो तो एक्सपर्ट साहब कर लेंगे रिव्यूअर, लेकिन वो बच्चा आके बताएगा सर बिल्कुल एग्जैक्टली सेम रिजल्ट आ रहा है, मैंने जनरेट कर लिया, ये ग्राफ लेके आया हूं. एक्सपर्ट जो रिव्यूअर होगा कहेगा वेल डन, पेपर अच्छा है, इसे एक्सेप्ट करने का रिकमेंडेशन देखना है. अब तुम एक बार इंग्लिश पढ़ लेना, इसकी इंग्लिश पढ़ लो, देखो कोई मिसिंग चीज है, कोई छोटे मोटे सजेशंस है तो वो दे दो, माइनर रिवीजन मुश्किल से आएगा और आपका पेपर एक्सेप्ट हो जाएगा. तो आपकी कोशिश ये होनी चाहिए सब लोगों की कि when you are writing your research methodology must be in a self-verifiable manner so that anyone, any third person can regenerate it and after regeneration can get the same result which you have presented in your paper. Correct? Next important, result तो मैंने जनरेट किया है लेकिन मैं रिजल्ट प्रेजेंट करना नहीं चाहता हूं. दोनों चीजें, रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी भी प्रेजेंट करना नहीं चाहता हूं और रिसर्च भी प्रेजेंट करना नहीं चाहता हूं. क्यों? मैं बहुत सारे लोगों से बातें करता हूं, बहुत सारी जगह तो लोग कहते हैं सर डर लगता है कहीं कोई ये चोरी करके और एक पेपर हमसे पहले ना पब्लिश कर ले. If you are afraid of this factor that someone will steal it, someone will publish paper prior to this, will copy your idea, will copy your research methodology, will copy your result and publish it, then my suggestion to all of you will be, let's not publish your paper. First go and get patented. Once you get patented, once you file patent, your patent has been published, then you come back to any publisher and publish your paper. So that fear factor is out. But if under this fear, you don't want to write your research methodology in a self-explanatory manner, you don't want to present your result, and writing our result is significantly good, no publisher will accept your claim, right? Next important is whatever result you generate, if result is not a state of the art. A state of the art when I'm talking is talking at least better than, little better than the previous one. And when I'm talking a little better than the previous one, you will have to claim this. You will have to support this claim. So if your result is not a state of the art, result is not convincing, then also no one will accept it. And then finally, if you have a state of the art result, if your result is convincing, if your result is at least an incremental value addition in the prior research, then only you can prove novelty of your paper. Otherwise, how can you prove the novelty of your paper? You will have to prove my paper is better in this way, that because it is utilizing 1% less memory, it is giving 2% better life value to this approach which I have given. Unless you claim support this kind of claim, your paper will not bring novelty. And whatever novelty you are claiming, with the help of a diagram, with the help of a table, with the help of a figure, with the help of some tool which you feel more presentable for your domain, you must support it. आपको कोई एग्जिस्टिंग टेक्निक जो 3-4 चल रही होंगी, जो एल्गोरिथम्स होंगी, उनका रिजल्ट और अपनी एल्गोरिथम का रिजल्ट एक टेबल में डालिए, उनके रिजल्ट को एक बार चार्ट में दीजिए और अपने रिजल्ट को एक बार चार्ट में दीजिए. Whatever technique you feel is will be suitable, and claim that support that claim that yes, my result is better in this way. You can see in this with the help of this table or with the help of this figure. And finally, my dear friend, poor grammar or use of English. ये तो हम सब Indian problem है हमारी. But unless you are confident of your English, please see to it that a third person, any of your friend who has got good English or who is a literature student, you ask him to read your paper. This will have two additional values. First, of course, your English will get corrected. And second, when a third person will read the paper, who is not part of the author's team of the paper, he will tell you, Baba, I didn't get any message out of your paper. So will you represent your paper or rewrite your paper so that it should get a better message? And that's how I claim that whatever you are writing, in whichever context you are writing, exactly in the same way, it should get noticed or it should get interpreted by the reviewer. The reviewer should also get the same message. If reviewer is not getting the same message, this implies reviewer will get some another message and you are trying to project some another message. And that is what is called as a pragmatic analysis. That syntactically your paper is correct, semantically your paper is correct, but pragmatically your paper is wrong. Say for example, I said that I saw you moving at PVR along with my girlfriend. Now who was moving? I mean that I was moving with my girlfriend and I saw you. You were also moving. You were also there at the PVR. But you generated a message. You interpreted a message that you were moving along with my girlfriend at the PVR. So it's two different meaning, two different interpretation. If this kind of multiple interpretation is possible, then which interpretation is a correct interpretation? Pragmatic analysis says that. So you have to reread the paper and reassess it and then convince yourself कि जो मैं meaning समझ रहा हूं, whatever meaning I wanted to present in this paper, whether the same meaning has been conveyed, same meaning will get conveyed or will get interpreted by anyone and everyone. इसके लिए थर्ड पर्सन कोई अगर रीड करे पेपर तो वो बेटर होगा. ये मैं आपको सजेस्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं. एंड नेक्स्ट few important tips for structuring of your paper is your title, of course, first. And my suggestion, title should be as small, as catchy, as fascinating as possible. And इसके लिए quick suggestion है, no golden bullet, silver bullet, no golden rule कि बिल्कुल इसी को फॉलो करेंगे आप, not like that. But suggestion है कि should be strictly less than 12 words, maybe even 15 words, depending upon the nature of your research. But should not be 2 sentences or 3 sentences. Should not be of 50 words. We come across too many titles which are just 5 words, or titles which are just maybe of 40 words, 50 words. So if this kind of title you are writing big data, only 2 words, and then you are telling it is a research paper. It is not a research paper. So you cannot keep this kind of title. And you are writing complete 4 lines, 50 words, not a title. So you should be careful while writing title. And your objective should be that whatever I have done research, whatever is my contribution, that entire contribution is in a holistic way, in a very abstract manner, should get reflected from this title. That is very important art for writing title. Next is abstract. Many of the review reports you might have received that your abstract is not a structure. When someone is telling you your abstract is not a structure, This implies what? He is trying to give you a message that you have missed these three aspects in your abstract. The first is what work you are doing. How are you doing this work? Your research methodology in 2 sentences. And then what are your achievements? Only these 3 things should get reflected in your abstract. An ideal suggestion is between 100 to 300 words. अब आप what लिखने लगेंगे तो इंट्रोडक्शन नहीं लिख रहे हैं आप कि आप पूरा 1000 वर्ड लिखें, या आप हाउ लिख रहे हैं तो पूरी रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी रिप्रोड्यूस नहीं करेंगे. You will write only maximum 2 sentences about the research methodology, that this is my work, in this way I am going to do this research work, and these are my achievements. That is what the your outcome, your contribution. ये आपका abstract होगा जो 100 to 300 वर्ड के बीच में होना चाहिए आपका. ये सजेशन है आपका. So third important title abstract. Next is introduction. Introduction again is very important, and it is said that introduction should be written in last. आप सब डेटा पॉइंट एक जगह जमा करते रहिए. जब पेपर तैयार हो जाए, then you see what are required to be added in this paper and what is not required to be added in this paper. So if you keep on writing anything and everything which is not relevant to your paper, and it will just only increase the length of the paper, is of no use. So see to it that you are writing your introduction in a best possible manner, and an ideal suggestion for writing a paper is 500 to 3000 words, maybe a little more also, but must be written in such a way that whatever claim has been done in the paper related to that, the background note as well as the complete review of literature has been presented in this introduction section. It is very important to be understood. But let me tell you that introduction is not part of that section of the paper which will ensure the your paper to get accepted out of the editor-in-chief view. Editor-in-chief will never come to introduction. It is only the reviewer who will read your introduction. And reviewer will also read your introduction after testing your research methodology and getting convinced with your result. If testing your research methodology and getting convinced with your result, reviewer fails to understand, he will also not read the introduction. So mostly reviewer also read introduction at the last. So if he gets convinced with a quick view of your research methodology and your result, then he comes, Baba, paper seems good, let me read entire paper because now I have to give recommendation. So this implies that accordingly, in a complete cool mind, you must write your introduction. The research methodology, I have already spoken. The only thumb rule for the research methodology is must be self-verifiable in reproducible manner. आप जो लिखें वो कोई भी थर्ड पर्सन आपके सब्जेक्ट एरिया का अपनी लेबोरेटरी में बैठ के अपने कंप्यूटर में बैठ के रिप्रोड्यूस करके आपका इनपुट डेटा सेट यूज करके सेम रिजल्ट ही शुड बी इन अ पोजीशन टू जनरेट. If this is happening, your paper gets accepted. छोटे मोटे revision आते रहेंगे. Those are immaterial, right? Next important is conclusion, and the difference between conclusion and your abstract is conclusion primarily will highlight novelty. Now you are not talking what I have done. You are not talking how I have done. That abstract have already spoken. That your details of the content of the paper have already spoken. Now you have to focus on achievement, novelty of the paper with the help of the achievement. That my paper, and then may not be, again, conclusion, you have to be very, in abstract manner, have to be very short and sweet. But this conclusion must tell that this paper is novel in this respect, and that's how, if not a detailed presentation, at least a quick graph or a quick table or maybe a quick presentation, which must tell that this is better in this way with the as compared to the present state of the art, as compared to the present technologies, as compared to the present algorithms, this is better in this way. So आप इसको जरूर उसमें हाईलाइट करें. अगर ये नहीं है, मैंने आपको बताया 4 चीजें एडिटर इन चीफ पढ़ेगा या क्विकली रिव्यूअर भी पढ़ेगा. आपका टाइटल, आपका एब्स्ट्रैक्ट, कंक्लूजन एंड रेफरेंसेस. तो ये आपके लिए बहुत ही जरूरी है, ध्यान में रखना. एंड लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट इज रेफरेंस. very important. If you are from engineering sciences and आपने 2015 के बाद का कोई रेफरेंस नहीं लिखा, तो माय डियर फ्रेंड, चाहे कितना इनोवेटिव टाइटल क्यों ना हो, कितना बढ़िया आपने एब्स्ट्रैक्ट क्यों नहीं लिखा, आपका पेपर रिजेक्ट हो जाएगा only on one ground, that your review of literature is not appropriate. You have added only old references, new references have not been added. Why are you adding references? Because you are trying to project that these are the latest researches which have already gone through. These are the researches which I have understood, and based on this research, based on this foundation of the existing publication, I am trying to build up my additional stories. So अगर वो फाउंडेशन आपकी ओल्ड दिखेगी तो आपका पेपर कौन एक्सेप्ट करेगा? कोई एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा. So आपके पास नए रेफरेंसेस होने चाहिए. And while writing references, do not consume your five pages or 10 pages in writing references only. Because if you keep on consuming 10 pages, then where will be the space for writing your technical content? So see to it that all those latest references you should add, which has got in turn older references already mentioned in those papers. So once you add the latest references, the older references in chain will already get reference and will already be there. So newer references will have preferences always on older references. Now there is a helpful hint here that if you want that out of editor-in-chief or out of associate editors, your paper should get accepted and should not get outrightly rejected. Please ensure before completing your paper and before submitting your paper to the journal, read the prior published paper by that journal. See to it that they might have published 5, 10, 100 papers in your area also. See to it that can you cite 4 to 5 references of those papers which have been published in that journal in your area, and can you include those references into your reference, cite those references into your review of literature. If you do this, no publisher will outrightly reject your paper. तो आपके लिए ये थंब रूल है कि आप उस जर्नल में प्रायर पब्लिश पेपर में से कुछ तो 4-5 रेफरेंसेस जरूर ऐड कीजिए. Whether paper is within a scope or not, that decision will be clear when editor-in-chief will try to judge it by seeing that we have already referred a good number of references from your own publication, and this helps to, of course, publisher also, journal also, to improvise their impact factor. I've already spoken that plagiarism, you must check it. All co-authors should read the paper, and a non-author should also read the paper. And as part of ethical compliances, the government and the company forms and the permissions, NOCs from companies must also be added here. And you might be coming across to situation that many of the publisher ask you to give 3 references, 3 possible or potential reviewers. I keep on receiving call from different authors that, sir, your system is asking 3 reviewers and whose names I should submit. I do not know anyone. And then my instant reply to the author is, if you do not know anyone in your area who is doing research and publishing your paper to whom you can refer as your reviewer, then I doubt your research area. Because if you are a serious researcher in that area, you must have networked with the peer researcher, peer scholars in your area, and you might be knowing at least 10 of such experts, 10 of such people who are doing research. And that's how this slide is very important, that be network teacher, be network a student, get network with the people at least working in your area. Let me tell you that if you write 3 references, it might not be that all those 3 reviewers will get your paper. It is only primarily for the purpose of judging your review or your networking, that are you connected with the fellow or with the peer researchers in the domain, or you are working in isolation. If you do not know, if I am working maybe in image processing on any specific aspect, and I do not know even 5 people working in my area, then my credential is a doubt. So that will get cleared once this networking is available. So be a network teacher, remain connected, maybe on any of the social media platform with your fellow researchers. Otherwise, in today's time, it is said that either you get network or be ready to get perished. Last important, whatever you have published, keep publishing. Keep posting all your publications, all your theme, research team on these kind of social media sites. All publishers appreciate it now. All publishers understand that if you keep on publishing on these kind of social media, you will get some value, you will get some citations, and through that, the publisher will also get some citations. And your count, your connection with different kind of social media will also count as when the publisher will generate some analytics that this author has got connect with these kind of social media and will have good citations. So these all social media sites are next generation learning tool, next generation research tool. So remain connected with that. And that's all I wanted to discuss with you today. And the last message, okay, whatever wrong we have done is never wrong. So failure is not when you fall down, but when you fail to get up. And when you get up, you should not be very happy that you have finally succeeded to got up. Success is not when you succeed to get up, but how quickly you get up. That's all I wanted to tell you. These are the references. This today's presentation recorded version will be available. Recorded version of this presentation will be available at our YouTube channel, which you can refer at our website, or we can give you a link here. This all from my side I wanted to share today. With this, I will stop sharing these slides and will take up your questions.
Thank you, sir. It was a really wonderful session. I hope many participants. If our
So,
relation
dear
survey
participants
not supported by
and Dr.
previous.
Dr. Ritika. Dr. Ritika.
Yes,
आपके
sir.
network की, because of your network, your voice is breaking in between. So let me now you are audible. So dear participants, in between, let me apprise you that the feedback link has been shared, and now based on this feedback link, you can generate your certificates. And many of participants are asking for PDF of this PPT. Yes, we will give you PDF, but for that you will have to write a separate mail to me. It will not be placed in a public domain because might be there are material from different other publishers. So will not publish in a public domain, but will be available on email to any one of you. However, the recorded lecture of today's session will be available through our YouTube channel. So feedback link has already been given. You can generate your certificate. In between, we'll take up few question answers. So Dr. Ritika, if you have taken note of questions, shall we take up questions?
Yes, sir. The first
Please.
question is, if our results are true related to empirical survey but not supported by previous results, will it be published or rejected?
It will not be published. Because you won't be in a position to compare your result, how good or how bad your result is. How will you show novelty of your paper unless you compare your result? So you must support it. That is important.
Yes, sir. Next question. What is focus article? Is it important to early stage researchers to write focus article?
All journals do not publish focus article. Focus articles, journals like Nature, they publish. And when they publish, they do not follow any structuring. They do not follow any presentation rule. They just want a theme on a focus to be written, maybe 1 page, 2 page, and they publish that theme as a focus. And this is the technology trend which is going to come up for peer researchers to understand that theme and start writing papers. So this implies maybe COVID-19 was a kind of new focus. So probably many of the medical journals have started publishing a focus article of 2 page on the theme that these are the inputs and these are the possible ways. And now peer researchers can start working at that domain. So as an author, you will have to find that which of journals can publish those kind of focus article. So if you have interest, you can do that. Focus article could be too generic, but then connected to the focus, connected to the theme on which, and should be a new, absolutely new technology trend. Not a complete technology, but a technology trend you are giving. So then people will take it up. Next question, please.
Next question. Some guidance for writing a dissertation, like its format and how to write a literature review.
So this writing a dissertation, we can have a separate presentation that how to write dissertation. But nonetheless, there are some important sections which are common with writing papers. Like you must do literature review, literature survey for MTech scholars. You must, while doing MTech kind of dissertation, you must follow any paper, any good paper published in any good journal, maybe a Springer journal, maybe IEEE journal, maybe Elsevier journal as your base paper. जब आप एमटेक का डिसर्टेशन टाइप लिख रहे हैं तो उस वक्त आपका एक बेस पेपर जरूर होना चाहिए. आपने 20 पेपर्स रिव्यू किए, एक बेस पेपर बनाइए और उस बेस पेपर पे आप तैयार करके कीजिए कि मैंने सब पढ़े हैं, ये गैप्स हैं, ये मेरे रिसर्च ऑब्जेक्टिव है, एंड देन आई विल वर्क ऑन दिस पेपर टू इम्प्रोवाइज इट, एंड यू कीप ऑन शेयरिंग योर दैट डेटा what you are trying to improvise through or maybe change research methodology with those authors also whose paper you have selected as a base paper. बाकी चीजें ऑलमोस्ट सेक्शन सेम है. कभी सेपरेट वेबिनार हो सकता है डिटेल डिस्कशन के लिए एमटेक डिसर्टेशन.
I suggest that we can think about Horaza,
yes,
think about on technical writing and technical presentation, which will cover.
technical writing and master's dissertation separate webinar हो सकता है. You are right.
Yeah,
separate webinar हो सकता है. ठीक है, next question.
and that will also help.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have tried with a trendy topic in my research, though I didn't found a successful result. Oh, should it be accepted by judges?
Look, this is a very subjective question. Few journals will accept trendy kind of topic, but many of the journals do not accept trendy kind of topics, because the journals, when you are talking a trendy kind of topics, you are not in a position to support your results, because you are already giving a new trend and that trend is undoing many of the prior trends. So then that journal should be very open-minded that, yeah, let's accept it. So my suggestion to the authors who are trying to write a trendy kind of paper, first they should aspire for journals which are only online. Second, even if your paper get rejected, you get those inputs and try to publish it as a white paper. There are multiple sites, multiple publishers which are publishing only white papers. All industries are publishing white papers. So if your white paper got good number of citations, connect it with your account, maybe in Mendeley, maybe Scopus, or maybe other ORCID, etc. And these kind of citations will help tomorrow to any good journal to accept your trendy kind of research and then publish those papers. But many of the journals will reject. I know few papers which were very good but were rejected by many of the journals, because journal have also create that dare that yes, I can publish this and people will accept it. So that kind of dare is very less.
Yes.
Next.
Sir, next we have, sir, what should be the value of I, that is net information? Can this net information be theoretical for such reputed journals, like presenting a novel idea for every?
My dear friend, again, it is very subjective question that what should be the value of I? Whether value of I should always be measured in mathematical way, in quantitative way, or can be even theoretical way. When I'm talking of a theoretical way, again, every theory need to be converted into some quantity. So now when I'm talking a theory is converted into a quantity, this quantity could be little in incremental addition, maybe 0.001 or maybe 0.1 or maybe 2%, 3%, 4%, 10%, 20%. That depends upon you. As on that, the research community has not set any such target or any such a benchmark that it should be 1% or it should be 5%. So that kind of demarcation is not available. You should be convincing yourself that the kind of the effort which you are putting in your research, whether that effort is justified with the kind of the result which you are generating and with the kind of the value addition which you are making. If you have, say for example, a PhD thesis, you have invested 5 years and you are talking of 0.0001% addition, incremental addition I have done in the existing research, and that is the value of the I, then probably I will tell you that then go back and look at your topic. If your topic is that critical that this much little increment can also be accepted, well enough, good. Otherwise, you should in beginning only think that in this domain I won't be in a position to make too much of addition. Let's have such domain which will be more value based. And at this moment of time, I would like to again tell to all the participants that in today's time, now you have to focus on translational research. Any research which remains in books, any research which remains in paper, any research which remains in the library will not going to transform the society. Now, if you see Honorable Prime Minister, the entire government funding agencies, and under National Education Policy, the National Council of Research, the National Council of Research also, everyone will be focusing that what is the societal impact of this research. And when the societal impact of the research will start coming, this impact factor, this index, this I index, I10 index, I20 index, everything will go. So the only one factor will be, people will be asking you, do you have a patent? And do you have any product connected to your, or any service connected to your research? If you do not have any product or service connected to your research, if this research do not have any application in the society, if your society is not getting benefit out of your research, then I hardly bother what research you are doing. So let's focus on that particular aspect. And for that purpose, even an incremental addition which can change the society, which can influence the society and create a societal impact will be very much appreciated and will be very much welcome.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
next
sir.
question.
And yes, sir. What are the factors to be kept in mind while identifying the Scopus listed journal where
Will you repeat the question?
Yes, sir. What are the factors to be kept in mind while identifying the Scopus listed journal where I can submit my paper?
So in fact, those factors I have discussed during my presentation. And the most important part will be the quality of your technical content, because once editor-in-chief is convinced through the presentation, through the good structuring of your paper, he will put your paper under review. Now the quality of the content will be very important, and the quality of content for all good journals like journals indexed at Scopus, at ACI, at ESCI, at DBLV, and other indexing agency will look into that. Are you talking only text means only theory, or have you got a model? Have you got some mathematical equation? Have you got some such model which people, if refer, can improvise the model and generate a better result? So ensure that some mathematics also should be involved in your paper. Some mathematical or OR modeling should be available in your paper. Some such model which can be reproduced with some improvisation, with some changes in the parameter, with some changes in the experiment setup, and can create more value addition. So if you do that, your probability of acceptance of paper in highly indexed journals like Scopus and Web of Science journals will be better. So add some model, some framework, not only text. Text normally is a part of review paper, and highly indexed journals, and there are only few highly indexed journals which publishes the review paper. Most of the journal expect for a original research paper, not the review paper. But nonetheless, the conferences, you may go ahead with your review paper to all the conferences, quick publication, even your research paper, quick short review research paper, 4 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages, you can publish through conferences. You will get good input. Now those input you can utilize for improvising your paper and then submit to a good journal. So any highly indexed journal will look for a model, will look for a framework, will look for some mathematical application into that. Yeah.
So next question. Yes, sir. What is the role of processing fee in the publication of paper?
Publication fee. This is again a very subjective question. Different journals have got different processes, different policy. Now, whichever journal you have selected, you have to follow the policy. Let me tell you very clearly that at this moment, the entire publication industry is a crossroad. Till today, what publication industry, I'm talking of a good publication industry, not predatory journals, not predatory publications. The entire publication industry at this moment is following the two policy. One is the subscription mode, and second is an open access mode. So subscription mode is in which the author need not to pay anything. In most of such journals where the journal places paper under subscription mode, which according to IEEE terminology is claimed as a no-show policy, means your paper only abstract will shown in a public domain. Entire paper will not be shown in a public domain. So only your abstract got available in a public domain. If any of the author, any of the reader gets fascinated, but after reading abstract, he has to download the entire paper from the portal of the publisher after making payment to that publisher. Or otherwise, he can access the entire paper through some subscription, maybe from library or maybe some online subscription. This is a no-show policy or subscription domain. Second, in which the authors will not need to make any payment. The complete will be free. Maybe few journals like our journal will fix page limit, that maybe 6 pages or 8 pages publication will be free. Then after, if your paper is of 10 pages, if your paper is of 15 pages, for remaining pages, you need to make payment of X amount. That depends again from publisher to publisher. Now, the question here is why such publisher frame this policy? Because if they do not frame this policy, authors tend to write maybe 20-page paper, 40-page paper. We come across a situation, then the paper is of 50 pages long paper. Say, for example, I have fixed a page limit of maybe 200 for my one issue. So this implies 4 papers will consume my all 200 pages. So I can accommodate only 4 papers in one issue. So what will happen to other authors? So where other authors will publish paper? So we fix a page length that, look, our journal has got this page length. After this, if you publish, certain pages I can allow, but only after charges. And this is a mechanism which basically trying to give a message to the authors that write smaller papers, not like 20-page paper and 40-page paper. The second approach is open access. Now, all publishers have made it clear. Open access is show policy according to IEEE. And many other like Springer, other journal, they say open access. Under open access, your paper immediately after acceptance will be put entire paper in a public domain. Now, anyone and everyone who wanted to read your paper, reader will not need to make any payment. Reader can download the paper free of cost. This implies what? That where from the publisher will earn the money. Did you realize any time that why so many big publishers, IEEE, Springer, Elsevier, and so many big publishers are working in the domain and making business? They are the commercial people. They are making business out of my research, out of your research. And how they are making business? They are making business by selling our papers, our research work. So if entire paper is put in a public domain, how the publisher will earn money? Publisher has no other mechanism to earn money. So publisher will ask you to make payment. And again, that payment differs from publisher to publisher. In general, from 20,000 to 50,000 is the payment of one paper, maybe from 6 to 10 pages for making it open access. And once your paper is accepted, every publisher gives you option that do you want to publish your paper under subscription mode, where readers will need to make payment, you may not need to make any payment, or you want to put your paper in open access, then reader will not make any payment. You need to make payment prior. So if your research is funded, if your research is sponsored, or you are well enough to make payment, then do subscribe to that philosophy of open access. The advantage to open access is you will get huge citation. The disadvantage to publication subscription mode is you will get very less citations, because only those people who have got subscription, who have paid and obtained subscription, can read your paper. So this is up to you to take a call. Now the third option is also coming up. That is a kind of, now journals are following this hybrid option, that few authors can follow open access and few authors can follow the subscription mode. Even in my journal, say around 20 papers I'm publishing in one issue, maybe 2-3 papers are under open access, the rest of the papers are under subscription mode. Now the journals are coming up with a new policy, which is in pipeline to be implemented, that even copyright author need not to transfer to the publisher, but they will charge you 3 times the fees than what the open access is charging at this moment. So this implies any amount more than 50,000, depending upon the number of the pages in your journal, you need to make payment to the publisher, and publisher will publish your paper, will put it in a public domain, and will also ensure that copyright remains with you. Wherever you wanted to reuse your copyright, you can reuse your copyright. At this moment, even under open access, the copyright remains with the publisher. In our case, the copyright remains with our institution, not with Vidyapeeth. But once we come up with that kind of model, with a kind of gold open access, then we need not to take the copyright. You will not be required to transfer your copyright to me. So copyright will remain with you. So that's how I think it's a crossroad. Let's see coming days what kind of decision is coming. And then third is few journals like Scopus Index Journal, like Web of Science Journal, even if they put your paper in a subscription mode, they do not charge anything as publication, but they do charge as application processing fees. And that application processing fees is processing for your paper, and that you need to submit even if your paper is rejected many of the time, many of the publisher. So it depends upon publisher to publisher. Thank you. So next, Dr. Ritika. We can take 2-3 more questions.
I think we can have another. Yes, sir. What is the difference between SCIE and SCI? Which one is better?
ACIE and ACI. In fact, recently there has been a workshop on this by publisher, and
Yes, sir.
almost every year 2-3 such workshops keep on happening. ACI basically ACI, ACIE, and EACI and SSCI. All these indexing databases are through Web of Science, and ACI is a first database which for all science-based publications the Web of Science have generated. Now, as per the latest report, the 2 new journals, they are not bringing in ACI. So now what they have done, they have introduced 2 new indexing databases. One is EACI and the second is ACIE. EACI is emerging ACI, and ACI is ACI expanded. So ACI expanded is as good as now ACI. Now you don't have to bother that ACI and ACI mein ko bahut zyada fark hai. So because ACI door has been closed, so all those journals which will qualify for top 50% rank list of that Web of Science will go to ACIE. But beginning, the moment they will index, they will put you in emerging ACI. So emerging source citation index, then your ACIE, and then finally the earlier ACI, but no new journals are going in ACI, only the old journals will continue. And then there's a social science indexing, so SSCI. So this is all, but you need not to bother for all these kind of indexing. This is journals business to be bothered. You should focus on quality of your paper and quality of the journal which you are publishing. And in order to judge the quality of the journal with which you are publishing, these indexing agencies are not the only parameters. They are the parameters at this moment, but in coming days, they will not be the only parameters. Societal impact of the research publications happening in the society will also be the parameter. But at this moment also, in addition to the indexing agency, you can think for what is the editorial board. Editorial board में कैसे लोग involved हैं? कौन publisher है इस journal का? Who is publishing this journal? Whether the publisher is reputed publisher or not. Then what is the review process? How much review time they need? Are they giving you a review in fortnightly? Are they giving you a review in a 1 week time? If they are giving you a review in 15 days and 1 week time, possibly you are mistaken, that journal is not a good journal. They cannot give you quality review before 3 months. So you must be patient enough to giving that much time to any of the journal to review your paper. So these are some additional parameters to look into, through which you can judge that whether the journal with which you are publishing is a quality journal or not. SCI, ACIE, EACI or Scopus are not the only parameters to judge the good journal. Yeah, Dr. Ritika.
Sir, next question. Whether a journal is a good journal or not, since a lot of pediatric journals are working in today's time, and we tend to get confused between them.
I have given answer in my last question that who are the people in the editorial board, who is the publisher of that journal, what is the review process, what kind of review remarks I am getting, and of course the index agencies. So these are the parameters to judge whether the journal is good journal or not.
Next question we have: how do we compare real-time data and data created in laboratory?
Oh yes. Now you have to see to it that what kind of research you are doing. If your research is based on some such in some such area where real-time application will be in a more critical and challenging situation than the data generated in laboratory, then you need to have some real-time data. And say, for example, COVID-19, you do whatever you are doing in laboratory, the actual implementation will have to be on ground in a real-time environment with the patients. and then whatever you are doing in laboratory will not be successful. And that's how or extrapolation, intrapolations, interpolations, and a kind of projections, a kind of prescriptive analytics, predictive analytics, which was done for COVID-19 was proved to be wrong. So in laboratory, what are you doing? If your research is only confined till laboratory, probably that is sufficient. But if your research is also going to have a societal impact and in realistic situation which is going to be applied, then of course first you conduct in laboratory and then try to run it maybe on a smaller scale but on a realistic data, because entire spectrum will be different when you will execute that research in a realistic manner. So you need to take consideration of this depending upon your topic of research. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Next question. I think this will be the last question up due to the paucity of time. I have seen that many of good journals have published papers without citations mentioned in a proper manner. That's why many of our citations are also missed in the computer that evaluate citation indexes. Can we ask the editor-in-chief of reference in the paper, or the authors can be contacted for an update?
Authors can be contacted for the update, but my dear friend, every paper which has been published has been assigned DOI. Now, even comma full stop changes, DOI is digital object identifier. And that's a cross-referencing through which your paper is available 24/7/365. Now, even a small change, comma, full stop, etc. in your paper will need a different DOI. So no publisher will do that. I think since last 5 years, no good journal has done that mistake. But definitely different journals, different publishers have got a different format of publishing citation. And it becomes for an author very difficult that which journal is publishing in which citations. And if I have published a journal maybe in Emerald or maybe Elsevier, which has a different citation, and IEEE and Springer has different citation, and then I want to cross interpolate it, then becomes difficult. But you can't do that. But to my understanding, since last 5 years, many of the journal have come to such situation where they are using softwares like kind of Mendeley. Even the authors have started using it. That will solve the many of such problems. But even if you contact to the editor-in-chief or publisher won't be in a position to modify your paper and correct your citations and then put it again in a public domain. That's not possible. But yes, authors can be contacted. Authors can make some correction in the citation, and authors can maintain a web page of her own publication or his own publication, and can upload an updated version having proper citation, so that wherever next time the paper is cited, it is being recorded or it is being referenced. That author can take care of that. I will suggest that every author should have the list of publication, including detailed papers, if that has been permitted by the publisher on his or her own website. That's my suggestion. But see to it that whether the paper which you have and you wanted to put on your website is permitted by your publisher or not. Because many of the publishers permit after 3 years, even if they give you a personal copy. And many of the publisher permits you from beginning only. So you have to take care of that aspect.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
Dr.
sir.
Indika.
We have tried cover of the issues that the participants had. I will put a full stop to the questions over here, and I would actually take this privilege to thank you on behalf of all the participants. It was a very informative session, and sir, kindly grant me the privilege to share the certificate
Oh,
session with you.
okay. Thank you.
I will request kindly bless, sir, please.
Okay. But Bhatia Saab is there. Bhatia Saab.
Yeah, I take the opportunity of handing over to you on behalf of all the people who are attended and
Thank you.
all the organizations who have participated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much to all the participants, all my friends from different professional societies who joined. And dear participants, if you have got certificate for today's program, you may leave now. and join for our next program.
एक शायरी तो बनती है ना बाद में,
अच्छा शायरी बनती है वो मैंने
कुछ
आज
मीठा
नहीं
हो
सुना
जाएगा।
आज